the sequence window or the timeline. We haven't set up any sequences yet, but this is where you put all of your projects. So these you would see these in sequential order. Clip 1 would be here, clip 2 would be here, clip 3, and so on, whatever order you put your videos in. And then this window here is your project window or your media browser. You can browse different things here. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. How do I get it back? Come on. There we go. Okay. In your project window, you'll see different tabs. The project tab is where anything you import into the project will be here. So any videos or music or photos that we import into our project will be here. Media browser, we can browse for content that might be on our computer. Info, if we have a clip and we want to see some info about it, that's where we'd see it. Effects is where you're going to find your audio effects and your transitions and video effects. And markers, don't worry about that right now. Alright, so now that we're set up, the first thing we need to do to be able to edit is we need to set up our timeline. Or in other words, we need to set up a sequence. So go File, New Sequence, or Command N is the shortcut. File, New Sequence, or Command N is the shortcut. Once you've clicked on that, wait for me. Again, it's File, New Sequence, or Command N is the shortcut. That will open up this new sequence window. Now what you have here are a bunch of codecs. We're not going to get into codecs at this time, but there's a bunch of different presets for different types of video formats, depending on what cameras you used and different things like that. For now, I can't see the bottom of my screen because I'm hooked up to the projector, but I think it says OK. Is that what the button says? Bottom right? Okay, just click on OK. Don't worry about the presets right now. And if you did that, you'll notice that the sequence now is alive. It's now lit up. This yellow tag with the red line, that cursor, that's called your playhead. Click and drag that around just so you're familiar with it. And look how those orange numbers, how they change. The orange numbers, both in your sequence or in your timeline and up here in your program monitor, those tell you where your playhead is located in the video. Okay? So right now where mine sits, it's at 19 seconds and 5 frames. That's what these numbers mean. This first set of zeros, those are hours. Second set of zeros are minutes. Third set right here where it says 19, that's seconds. And then the last set of zeros, or 05 in my case, are frames. There's 30 frames in a second. So if I was at 19, I could type this in and it would go there. If I was at 1929, come on, go there. If I was at 1929, then that means I'm basically at 20 seconds. One more frame, and I'm at 20 seconds. Okay? Now make sure you click on your timeline down here. I want you to play around with this. You can move this playhead by clicking and dragging it. You can also move it by pushing your left and right arrows. The right arrow will move it forward 1 frame at a time every time you click it, and the left arrow will move it backwards 1 frame at a time. So if we needed to do really precise editing, we would use this to move around. Okay? And that's how you set up your sequence. So just to review, if you haven't set up your first sequence, go File, New Sequence, or the keyboard shortcut is Command N. Choose any preset, it doesn't matter at this time, and click OK. And it'll set up a sequence for you. I'm going to delete my sequence because I only need one of them for right now. And one last thing, I want you to change the name of your sequence to say Project 7. Over here in the project window, by the way, if you ever can't see something, if it's at the bottom of my screen, just stand up so you can see it real quick, then you can sit back down. But the sequence in your project window, down where it says the name of it, sequence 1, if you click on that and you click on it again, it will select it so you can type. Project 7 is the name of this sequence. And then if you click off of it, you'll see in your timeline that that changed from sequence 1 to project 7. Again, in the project window, you click on project, click on your sequence, click on it again so it highlights. If it's got that blue highlight, you can type project 7, then click off of it, and your tab in your sequence will now say project 7. All right, go ahead and check your neighbor, make sure that they have their project 7 set up, their tab set, their sequence set up, and then we'll move on.